what's going on, everybody? Brian here with Critical Bench, and I'm a strength coach, triathlon coach, functional movement specialist, and yeah, some of that stuff might not be important to you, but it is to me. And the reason why I'm making this video is to just give all those beginner runners out there some help, because you might be like, I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what stretches I should do. I don't even know if I should stretch, because you're a beginner. Beginners don't know too much, and that's why you're watching this video. So if you're brand new to the sport of running, you should be stretching before you run and even after you run. But there are certain types of stretches you should be doing that are definitely going to be helpful to you. So all things aside, runners, just people in general, have tight hips. They also have tight upper backs. So the first two things you need to stretch out are your hip flexors and also your pretty much your back, or your chest, I should say. So the number one stretch you need to go to, this format is done before you stretch. Dynamic movement, dynamic stretching, active stretching, things like this. Loosening up those hip flexors, because you don't want to do any static stretching. That's after you run. So hold this stretch right here, pulse it in and out, maybe 5 reps total per side. Same thing on the other side. And do this right before you run to loosen up those hips, because there's a good chance that your next run you're going to take, you're probably coming from a seated position, or even when you're sleeping, your hips might be just a little restricted. So you got to open those hips up. The next one would be like a chest opener, because again, if we're on the keyboard at the computer all day, typing on the keyboard, or we're texting all day, we need to open up those chests to get some fresh air in those lungs. So stand up. We call it the Hercules pose right here. Open those shoulders back, pull those arms back behind you. Just allow some fresh air into those lungs. You can even see how I'm squeezing my shoulder blades back. Do a handful of these, because when you run, you want to make sure you're keeping your chest up in a nice fashion right here. You don't want to be a cave chest, because if you cave in here, your hips are going to cave in, and all of a sudden you're going to start developing some weakness and tightness all throughout the anterior chain of the body. So when you're doing these are great to, again, dynamic movement before you work out or before you go for a run. So after you run, you're going to be feeling things like tight quads, tight calves. So it would be good to incorporate some of those stretches. You can always go back to the hip flexor here. This one you want to be a little more static after you work out. Okay, so that's your stretch there. But another thing you can do to stretch out those quads is just simple runner stretch, quad stretch right here. Grab onto something, grab that foot behind you, pull it up to the butt as close as you can, and same thing on the other side. Now, time under stretch, it would be about 10-15 seconds is adequate. I would do a couple times each side. You always want to stretch out those calves too. So, you can hold up against a tree or a light post or even a car or something, or even if you're on a treadmill. So notice my feet, they're parallel right here, okay? I'm stretching out this calf. Heel is on the ground. It's in line with my front foot. And I'm trying to turn my hips back a little bit. That's called a posterior pelvic tilt. And I'm stretching out my calf as best as I can. So we know the hip flexors will be tight from just sitting, from just poor flexibility in general, but your quads and your hip flexors will also be tight, just because those are your prime movers for the sport of running. Calves are also taking a lot of abuse. Hamstrings, not too much. They're kind of dormant, but they help with the pull phase of the run gait. So it is important to stretch out those hamstrings too. So what I recommend is just one leg out in front of you, toes up, reach down. Trying to keep your spine upright, and just gently reach down and hold it. Again, 10, 15, 20 seconds. These are the stretches you want to do after you run. You can just try to reach down and hold that stretch for 10, 15, 20 seconds, a couple times each side. Now, if you're a runner just starting out, well, that's who you are since you're watching this video. There's a muscle called the piriformis. This is typically a muscle that is often abused, especially for beginners, because it's a muscle that's just used a lot in running, but it's not used much throughout anything else. So take a seat. What you need to do on this one, you're gonna cross the leg here and kind of scoot. Like, how you sit in a chair with your leg crossed? This is the same movement right here. You're gonna feel this a lot in your piriformis right here. So your piriformis, sorry, I didn't really specify where it is. It's deep in your hip, your groin area. And it's very, very active in running. So this is something you want to do after you run. It's kind of hard to stretch it out before you run, but you will definitely feel it tight after you run. So yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stretches that are going to be helpful to you, especially for all those beginners out there. This is not like an all-inclusive list. There's so many other types of stretching techniques, stretching holds and things like that that will be helpful. This is just going to give you some guidance, just so you have some direction on where to go. But if you want to get more in-depth videos, we have a whole bunch of other videos stretching related, even to runners, that on our channel. So what you need to do is just first subscribe to our channel, but go to our channel and search stretching or flexibility training or mobility, things like that, that you're definitely going to find helpful as well. But hey, if you got a comment or a question on something you saw in this video, underneath this video is a comment section. Post your comment or question in there and we'll get around to answering that. Hey, give this video a thumbs up, like it, and share it with somebody you know. But hey, before you go and shut down this video, click this box right here. It's going to take you to a free report on stretching. Click it, give us your email, and the report's on its way to you for free right now. You don't want to miss out on that. Subscribe to us by clicking here and check out this other video that I know you'll find helpful as well. Hey, I'm Coach Brian. I appreciate you watching. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you soon.